I've been searching for a decade or more. Where did those years go? When was I last here? It doesn't look the same. It looks older. Maybe it's just my eyes that are older. I never could find any words on these pages. Only lines. I'm not sure words would be of use to me now anyway. There's always this music I can hear. I've heard it so many times, but it never sounds the same. I'm not sure anyone else can hear it.
Wow, that looks pretty interesting. Welcome to Skrilltown Talk. I'm your host, Mr. Skrilltown, and tonight we have the lovely indie artist, songwriter, composer, Vicki Lynn Smith. How are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm delighted to have you on the show tonight. I've went into a little bit of Vicky's background, and she has done a whole lot more than I even known when I reached out to her, and I'm impressed. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks for having us. Thank you for allowing me to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And I see those guitars back there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I like that. My daughter I actually bought my daughter a guitar. It's right there. You probably can't see. You
I
might be
can
able
see
to
the
see it a
top of
little
it.
bit. Yeah. So I've been holding on to that until she can actually learn how to play it. So anyway, maybe we can come down to Nashville and you can teach her a little something maybe one day.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Vicki Lynn Smith. Um, okay, Vicki Lynn is an independent music artist, songwriter, composer. She thrives on bringing positivity, hope, and happiness through her diverse mix of Americana, pop, country, and singer-songwriting styles of music and instrumentals. Her music has been used in TV and sports. She has overcome countless obstacles on the way up and continues to work hard each and every day to keep her musical journey moving forward while helping others manage with stress, anxiety, and etc. to realize their own potential. That is Vicki Lynn Smith. Yeah, that's deep, Vicki. And like I said, once again, I'm glad that you gave us this opportunity tonight. I know how it could be, especially during the week, and you're a busy person, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, let's get right into it. So I know you do music as an independent artist. So tell us how you got started, and tell us what brought you to Nashville if you're not already from there.
No, I actually grew up in New York. Started playing guitar when I was 7. My parents bought me a guitar, and it wasn't, it was more, they wanted me to have music in my life. So
Hmm.
I'd walk to the neighbor's house every Tuesday night with my guitar on my Yamaha guitar on my back, and
Mm.
he was a high school student, and he would give me lessons, and it's stuck with me ever since. I went through the school program. I took classical flute in school and then in college, and just dabbled in a whole bunch of different instruments. And
Hmm.
then I don't know, I was a single mom, so I raised my kids on my own. And I always wanted to move to Tennessee, just be closer to the music scene. And about 2 years ago, my son and his fiance moved down here, and then last year I followed them down. So I'm new to Tennessee, but I'm excited
Yeah.
to be here. I'm actually outside of Nashville. I'm in Knoxville, which
Oh,
they say
okay.
Knoxville is the new Nashville.
Yeah,
So yeah, the
yeah.
music scene is really fabulous here. I really love it. It's just there's music everywhere, and it's
Hmm.
nice. Yeah.
I've heard that too. I forgot who I interviewed that's from Knoxville as well. But yeah, I've heard that. So tell us a little bit about how the transition from being from New York and now being kind of in that southern midwestern area. Like, how was the change? How was it to get adjusted to this new scene?
It's definitely different.
Mhm.
I'm from very country New York, and here in Knoxville, I'm in a busy area, so that was a real change for me. But at the
Mhm.
same time, even though it's busier, the energy is just so much more relaxed. So I really love that. And there's so much live music happening, writers rounds happening, open mics happening. So there's a lot to do here musically, a lot of people to meet, a lot of networking can happen here. And coming out of COVID, it was just like Zoom co-write after Zoom co-write, and I still
Mhm.
spend a lot of my week co-writing on Zoom. So I'm really excited to be here and meet other musicians and be able to write in person again. So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. So okay, we got that going in Knoxville. So tell us a little bit about what you do like basically involving music. Like, what do you do? Because I know you're an indie artist, composer, and songwriter, but tell us the day to day for Vicki Lynn.
Day to day. Um, well, up until I moved to Tennessee, I was doing a lot of equine assisted psychotherapy as well. And so it's always been my dream because I feel like the music industry, um, there's a lot of mental health issues in the music industry. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of addiction, there's a lot of um, rejection that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So it's always
Mhm.
been my dream when, in coming to Tennessee, that I could open a program for musicians to give musicians support. So I'm not doing as much as the high trauma work anymore. So
Mhm.
I'm still balancing. I'm starting my own coaching program to work with creatives and people in the music industry and just giving them support. So I've been
Mhm.
working really hard at that. I also do a lot of co-writing out the week, sometimes in person, sometimes via Zoom. I have some people that I write with on a regular basis, so I've really found a really good co-writing tribe, which has been really cool. So a
Mhm.
lot of writing, a lot of producing. Um, a lot of times on a co-write team, I'm the producer, so I'm the track girl and the one who's making the tracks,
Mhm.
um, which I just really, really love to do. I never foresaw myself as being a producer,
Mhm.
but right before COVID hit, we had done some recording in a studio, and the song came back, and it wasn't at all how I had pictured it in my head. And I
Right.
was like,
Right.
oh, I was just like, all right. So I can't blame the producer. It's me. I'm the one who I need to blame. Like, I'm not communicating what's in my head effectively.
Yeah.
So I took that the Ryan Tedder class, and so we
Mhm.
had to write and produce 3 songs in a month, and I had never even opened up a DAW, so that was
Mm.
a little overwhelming. And then that first song, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, I can take what's in my head and I could make it happen. Like, I can
Yep.
make it happen myself. Like, I'm a band, I'm an orchestra, I'm whatever I wanna be." So, like, I just fell in love with that process. So, I just took courses after courses. I kept getting a course come up in my feed about writing for sync, film and
Mhm.
TV, and I was like, I don't really know too much about that. I like to write music, but I don't know about that. So I ended up taking that class, which just blossomed into another class, into another class, and another class. So I just started honing my skills on, writing for sync, and producing. And so now I have some production clients.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it just spun in a way that I hadn't expected, but that I really, really love.
Well, the crazy thing is that we were talking, and I was trying to put some type of content together, and as soon as I typed in your name, all kind of stuff came up. Vicki Lynn Smith, and I'm like, wait a minute, so you're pretty humble for what you've done so far. But I'm looking on here, and it says something about Be Brave was awarded 2022's Listener's Choice Award for Best Song. So tell us a little bit about that single and how you came
Yeah.
up with the concept and so forth.
So Be Brave was a song that I wrote in that sync class we were thrown randomly into rooms. So I was thrown randomly in a room with two other co-writers, and Andreas is in Sweden, and then Jordan is in Australia. Or Jordan's actually singing that song, and so we're three different countries, and we're writing a song via Zoom. It was our first real sync song, and we entitled it "Be Brave," because it was about being brave as a songwriter, because it really does take a lot of bravery to be a songwriter and put your stuff out there, to be critiqued, for feedback, for judgment. So in sync, you write things that are generic, which I kind of like, because my mission about writing a song is just to give people a song that they can connect to in a way they need to connect to it. So Be Brave has been on TV three times. It's been on TV, and then it also won a Listener's Choice Award for Best Mixed Genre Song from an online FM radio station. And I guess the biggest pride that I get from Be Brave is I always tell this story because it's just so much about why I'm a songwriter. Is that a friend of mine lost her son. He had OD'd. And it was right around the time we released the EP Brave, that has 3 songs on it under our moniker called Java Tune. And when I was online at the wake to pay my respects, I could hear someone say, "That's her with the song." And I was like, I'm like looking around, like, I don't know what they're talking about, really. But when I get up there, my friend and her husband were like, "Vicki, we can't tell you how much that song meant to us. Like, this is our time to really be brave. And we just listened to that song over and over and over. That's been our rock. It's what's getting us through. And we're really proud of you." And so that right there, that was like my most defining moment as a songwriter, like to be able to give somebody something that they can use through a hard time just meant the world to me. And so that's my mission as a songwriter, just to be able to do that, give people, something to connect to the way they need to connect to it, when they need to connect to it.
Well, and it sounds like, I'm just looking at, you have Be Brave, you have this song called Beauty that I'm going to ask you about in a second, Long to Be Home, My Way. Sounds like you put a lot of meaning and thought into your songwriting and your songs. Some people just do songs just for trends, or just for, they'll get in the studio, have somebody put on a beat, and they'll come up with all kind of stuff. But it sounds like with you put a lot of meaning into the concept of your songs. So, how more powerful, and how do you feel about that when you're done with a song that has a lot of meaning? How does that make you feel? Or coming up with that song, how does that make you feel when you know that it's going to be a song that's going to be full of meaning?
It just fills me with hope. Like, to me, it has a lot of meaning, and I'm just filled with hope that it will have a lot of meaning for somebody else, even if it's just one other person. Yeah. I just hope it means something to them.
So tell us about this song Beauty that it looks like, is that your newest song right now?
No, that was my first release. We don't release a lot of music in sync because a lot of times the publishers, when they make a placement, they want to be the one to release the song. But Beauty was a song that I was asked to write for a multimedia art exhibit. And it was about unity, diversity, equity in America, Black Lives Matter, and all of that. So that it was probably one of the harder songs I had to write, because I was like, how do I authentically write a song, right? Like, I needs to be authentic. I can't just pretend that I know what's happening. So, I know how I feel about it, and I feel strongly about it. But I needed to come from a place that was authentic. So I thought about like a field of flowers. Like, a field of flowers there's all different shapes, all different sizes, all different colors, but we all look at that field of flowers and say, wow, like that's beautiful. So why
Yeah.
can't we look at each other that way? Why can't we just see the beauty in what's around us, the beauty in each other? So that's where I came from for that song. Just
Wow.
really appreciating the beauty in life and in each other. Because
Yeah.
I feel if we can do that, then everything else will just fall in place.
That's what they say. Everything will work itself out. You just got to be positive. You got to think positive, and things will work themselves out. It's the negativity that makes it hard for us to work things out, or for
Yep.
things to work itself out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, so I'm seeing that you've written roughly around 150 songs for film and TV, and you've had 7 TV placements.
Yep.
So how does a person like that, like, tell me a little bit about the time management of that, and how do you manage your time? Because I mean, you're doing the mental health thing. You're also a songwriter. So how important is time management, and like, do you have a routine? How do you go about it? Writing songs, and I mean, 150 songs is a lot. So just curious.
Yeah, that's about 150 songs that I have signed to different publishers, but I have a whole catalog of songs that are in progress or in signed. I probably have another 100 or so that are in the works. But yeah, time management is a challenge.
Yeah.
Definitely a challenge for me, but it's like a team, we submitted a song for a brief and it got signed yesterday. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So now it's like whatever I have planned has to stop, because when the song's written in sync, that's great. When it's signed, that's great. But once it's signed, then there's more work to be done. So we have to do what's called deliverables. So now we have to do breakdowns. We need a full version of the song, a vocal version of the song, an instrumental version of the song. We need a 30-second full and reduced cut, 60 seconds full and reduced cuts, and then all the stems, like the drum stems, all the guitars, all the pianos,
Yeah.
However we break it down. So there's a lot of work to do, signing paperwork and all of that. So it's like, so today it's just been trying to squeeze that in and trying to get all those deliverables done. So time management is definitely very challenging. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Sometimes a brief comes up and you're like, oh, we have a song that's almost ready. We can turn it around quickly. We can submit to that brief. So then everything you're doing just stops and you're focused on getting that song and meeting a deadline. So there's, a lot of deadlines sometimes that you have to meet in sync.
So how did you get involved? I'm sorry. How did you get involved in sync licensing and submitting to libraries and supervisors and so forth? How did you get involved in that?
I took a class over COVID. We couldn't play live music out, and so that was really hard. And so I took the sync class and learned a little bit more about doing it, and then just started, I took a couple other classes. There's a whole bunch of groups out there on Facebook groups and things like that offer free events. So I was just going everywhere, trying to make any connection that I can, finding out about libraries and briefs, how to get briefs, and just started building a library and then started pitching the music.
Wow. And I know you gave us a little brief on how once it's been placed and you've signed a contract, but like in preparation for submitting, how does that work? Like, are you guys just writing songs and then submitting them, or y'all specifically writing songs for certain submissions?
Both.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Sometimes we're just writing, there's like a list of like 20 to 25 different themes that are most commonly used in music. So a lot of times we'll just, pick a theme and run with it, just to have we don't have anything related to, platonic friendship in our library. So let's do a song about platonic friendship, because that's one of the themes that's commonly used. So we might just write a song for that. Or we might have a brief come up that comes up, and we're like, all right, let's roll with it. We have a week. Let's turn a song around. And that's not, it's writing the song, it's recording the song. A lot of times we're in different countries, different states, so everybody's doing their part and sending stems and tracks and zooming. So it's just a combination of a whole bunch of different things, really.
Yeah. And with that, how important is it to know the business side of things in music? Everybody wants to be this producer or this artist and wants to make this good sound and this quality music. But how important is it to know the actual business when you get in a position like you have, where you're getting a song placed in a movie or a TV show or a commercial? How important is it to know the business?
I think it's really, really important, and there's a lot to know. There's definitely a lot to know, from making sure your songs are registered right with your PRO, making sure you have in sync. A lot of times publishers want to make sure you have the proper paperwork in place. So
Mhm.
whenever we write a song, we're signing one-stop agreements, um,
And
and
what
split.
exactly is that? I don't mean to cut you off, but for the
Yeah.
viewers that are going to watch this is very important, because this is one of the main reasons I've stayed in business, is by educating artists about things like this. So, what is a one stop?
A one-stop agreement is an agreement between all of the co-writers that basically says, any one of the co-writers can make the decision on whether or not the song gets signed, or anything regarding the song, the placement, or whatever. Because if
Mhm.
they're going to place a song, music supervisors in a rush, right? They've got to get stuff done. They don't want to have to reach out. There was 4 writers on this song. I got to get approval from all 4 writers, and
Mhm.
one's here in the U.S., one's in Australia, 14 hours difference. That's a lot of work. So the one-stop agreement just lays out what our splits are, so that way the publisher knows what the splits are, and that any one of us has the authority to make the decision on behalf of the whole team. So that makes the process smoother.
Mhm. Wow. See, that alone is a gem that um, the viewers that'll be able to watch this will earn, because a lot of people don't know what splits are. A lot of people don't know what one stops are. A lot of people, artists, don't know what pros are. Performance
Right.
rights organization. That's the BMIs. That's the ASCAPs. That's the SOCANs. That's the
Yeah.
CSACs. A lot of people don't know about that, and I deal with artists all the time, that will do a collaboration. I'll be like, all right, send me your pro number, so I can get all this listed and, registered. And they're like, what's that? Or, I haven't never done one of those before. And it's like, I feel like if you've done music on any level, regardless of if you're a producer, songwriter, artist, or so forth, I would say after about 6 months, if you have been doing this for 6 months, you should have that. Anything outside of 6 months, it's embarrassing not to have it. I don't care who it is. And I've met people that have been doing music for 15, 20 years that don't have a pro,
Wow.
don't have a number. So, and we can go on with that forever, but I wanted to know if you
Even if you're not writing for film and TV, even if you're just writing for yourself and all you do is play out for gigs, or you just want to play at open mics, even if it's just about you, you can register those songs. Even if it's you, it doesn't need to be produced or whatever.
right.
You're playing these songs out at an open mic night. You can go to your PRO and submit your set list and get royalties for playing the song that you wrote, that you registered.
Exactly. That's something that people didn't know. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I started performing at 14. I didn't have a pro until I was in my 20s. But when I was in my 20s, I did exactly what you did and a lot of others, and started studying, started learning the industry and the
Hmm.
business and so forth. Because you're right, we're doing these shows, and you thinking you're doing them for free, or maybe you might be doing them for a couple of bucks, not realizing that you can get royalties off of these
Yep.
performance royalties.
Yep.
So yeah, that's very important. So with that being said, so tell us about World Fusion Group and
Oh
how
yeah.
you're tied to it and everything else.
Yeah, World Fusion Music Productions is an amazing organization. It's a co-op of musicians, producers, that does custom music for film, trailers, TV, advertising. We have a boutique library, vocal services. So really a great organization that's really trying to build relationships with production companies, ad agencies, and be able to provide them, with music. And if you need something custom, we can turn it around and, a guaranteed turnaround in 48 hours, which is
Wow.
crazy,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, and that's not just composing music or writing a song. I mean, that's fully produced, mastered,
Mm.
radio ready music. So it's I joined their team a few months ago, and it's been an exciting experience. I'm able to build relationships and learning a different piece of the business, which is really cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, really
Wow.
exciting.
It sounds exciting. I mean, I didn't know that until, like I said, it's always interesting to start reading a person's bio prior to interviewing them or reading it while you're interviewing them. It's
Hmm.
like, because you think you know a little bit about a person and then you start finding out other things. And with that, we'll go into the Indie Wave podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a podcast that I was a guest on. I don't know if you heard the promo reel for that one, but boy, he hyped me up. He did a great job. I was like, I don't know if I can live up to that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm worthy of all that. But yeah, so that was a result of Be Brave being on winning the award.
Hmm.
So that's actually a podcast ran by that radio station. So he had asked if I would be a guest on that podcast. So that was a lot of fun too. I've been doing a lot of podcast interviews. I really,
Yeah.
really love them. I love being able to. I just feel like I've learned so much from so many people.
Hmm.
And if there's any way at all that I can return any of that information back out into the world, because there was a day when I was feeling overwhelmed.
Hmm.
I'm losing my voice. I was feeling overwhelmed.
You've been singing too much. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you've been singing too much. Yeah. Um, take a pause for the cause. Uh,
Thank you.
but what I was going to say was that people don't realize how important like interviews are for singer-songwriters, producers, musicians. Like they don't understand that this is like probably one of the biggest advertising pieces you can have, because once you get
Yeah.
somebody gets you on or you interview someone, it helps out both of you. So with that Be Brave song and the other songs, how important is it because and you can tell your story through the song, but then when you get interviewed, how important are those interviews and marketing yourself once you make these songs and once these songs achieve the awards and the accolades that they make.
I think that they're really important, not only to market yourself, but to inspire others.
Hmm.
I think it's important to, we all start somewhere. So to be able to hear other people, to be able to tell other people that, you know what, I kept at it and I keep at
Yeah.
it day after day after day. And that's what I would tell anybody. I mean, it's an industry that's riddled with rejections, right? So we're going to get so many no after no after no. But I always say embrace those no's, because you have to get through them to get to the yes. So every no, celebrate it, because you are
Yeah.
one no closer to getting that yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
One would be, and that was already kind of a nugget for it, but what type of words of wisdom or advice would you give to a person that's just starting in your position now that you've created for yourself?
I think just just keep showing up for yourself, showing up for your passion, showing up for your music, and just keep going. It's not an easy ride. It's not a quick fix to victory or anything like that. It's definitely a long haul, but stay with it, enjoy the process, have fun, give yourself grace. Learn to write a lot of shitty songs and have fun at writing those songs, because those are important. You have to get the bad songs out so that you can get to the good songs. So there's not one songwriter out there that can say, yeah, every song I wrote.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, that's part of the learning process, and anything you can go to, like there's so many, like I said before, so many Facebook groups and all kinds of, free stuff that you can even go to, networking events. Go and show up and let other people see. If somebody asks you to be on a podcast, be on a podcast. You do that. You're making friends. I didn't know you before you reached out to me, and now I'm like, wow, I have this great, cool new friend. So how awesome is that? I know somebody else in the industry, and
Absolutely.
just make those connections and keep working at it and keep working through those no's, because like I said, all those working through those no's, you're getting one step closer to that yes, and that yes is going to be so amazing.
Wow. And that's the first time I've heard some of the other advice before. Because it's so true that a lot of people say it when they give advice. But the one thing I haven't never heard is that one with you when you said about get the shitty songs out the way first. Because you're right. Like we've all as songwriters wrote some crappy songs, and then the audience fans might not never hear this song. But that you've written a couple of them. I know I've written 100 of them, and it just happens like that. So what can you tell our viewers is coming up? What's in store for Vicki Lynn Smith, and also where can they find you online?
What's in store for me? I'm just going to keep writing my heart out, keep writing and making connections, and doing what I love and making sure I keep the fun in the process, because it's so important to have fun. Like even, I always say be silly, because I think you have to have some silly timeouts where you're just being silly, just wail on the guitar and just start singing something, whatever stupid words
Some
come to your
goofy
head,
song.
just sing them, just have fun, just keep having fun. So I'm just going to plan on keep on having fun and be as prolific as I can in my writing. Just keep
That sounds like
meeting
a
people.
karaoke moment. Like always, you gotta always have that karaoke moment. We've all been there where you go into the bar, you be like, oh snap, it's karaoke night, and you hear some drunk person on that karaoke microphone singing their heart out, and but everybody's laughing and everybody's entertained. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's entertained. So hey, the fun's there. And like you said, my motto is always live, love, laugh, and pray. So you gotta live, you gotta love, you gotta laugh all day long. So yeah. And then also, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Facebook. It's Vicki Lynn Music. Vicki Lynn Music on Instagram. VickiLynnMusic.me is my website. You can go to my website and find out some more information there about me, my music, my passions, my coaching. I do have a YouTube channel. I haven't really been real good with YouTube, but I'm starting it. I'm starting to work on YouTube a little bit. I just started doing some guided meditations. I'm going to do a 5-minute series of guided meditations. So I'll write the meditations and the music. And I posted a few so far. So just if you're having a stressful moment, you need to give your mind a little bit of a timeout. It's just 5 minutes to just help you just ground yourself and relax so you can get back to, what you're doing with more focused, calmer.
Well, this is a bonus question because this just made me think of it when you were talking. So how important, because I did an album called Street Music and Meditation. A lot of
Oh,
people didn't
cool.
understand it, but the key was music is my therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So how important is meditating? How therapeutic can meditating be for life in general? And how does that tie into music, possibly?
I think meditation is great. I mean, we're just hardwired to get so caught up in our head and get the thoughts going that sometimes we just lose our ability to even just think logically. So once we get into that state, it's really important just to say, you know what, I need a timeout, and just to take that break and, listen to 5 minutes of ambient meditation music or a guided meditations. I like guided meditations because I find sometimes if there's just music,
Hmm.
I can still get my head going crazy. So if I have a guided meditation, I can focus on somebody talking,
Yeah.
and that will bring me into the moment. Um, Maybe it's going outside. If you're okay going outside barefoot, barefoot
Hmm.
is a really great way to ground. I've done a lot of work with children, and there's like a 5 senses grounding meditation, and it was hard to memorize, so I just kind of twisted it up a little bit, and it turns out adults love it too. But I call it rainbow meditation. So just take a second, look around the room, find something red, something orange, something yellow, green, blue, purple. So what that's doing is getting you out of your head and into the present moment, because you're focused on looking around the room, looking for things in different colors. So once you get
Wow.
out of your head, it just gets your thoughts to slow down, and you can start thinking a little bit logically. So just, little things you can, you know, if you're a musician, you can say, all right, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to think of the top 20 songs that come to my head, and you just
Hmm.
start thinking 20 songs, just something to distract you and pull you into the moment to help you relax. But it's that once you get yourself and you're stressed out, it's really hard to be creative in a stressed out, if you're,
Yeah, stressed
in
out
stressed out
environment.
mode. Yeah.
You ever heard of David G?
David G, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's online. I've listened to a lot of his meditation videos, and it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those where you just close your eyes and he speaks, like you said, it's guided meditation. But I'm all about that too, and I completely agree with you in regards to it. So yeah, this was a wonderful interview. It was way more informative than I expected, which is good because
Yeah.
sometimes you just never know. We could just be talking about nothing but music or something else, but this one was a blend of music and meditation and therapy and just information. So I really truly appreciate this interview.
No, thank you so much. It's really, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And we want to thank all our viewers, the ones that have tuned in and the ones that will be. This will be rebroadcasted on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I'm missing one. Oh, YouTube, duh. YouTube. I
You,
always say it, but I had to mix it around a little bit. It kind of threw me off. Uh, but yeah, you can go out and listen to it and check it out and forward it to people because it's a lot of valuable information in this interview. So yeah, we want to thank Vicki Lynn Smith again for the wonderful interview and thank our viewers for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
thank
Thanks
you.
again, Vicki.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we will talk soon, most definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good night.
You too.